So you're not going to be a consultant. You're probably not going to be Treasury Secretary.
I think I'm not. I'm probably not going to be a surgeon at this point or a nuclear scientist.
But you're 67. You swim every day. You're in good health. What's next?
I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. I'm not. Look, I'm also a markets guy. I have been. I'm saying that's not how necessarily I lived the last 20 years of my career at Goldman, but it's an occupational hazard that I know the price of everything at times, and so I occupy myself with markets in the background. In the last couple of years, I trade a lot.
Do you?
I do.
In your personal account?
I do. If I do something differently, forget I said this and wipe out the tape. But I didn't really want to look at people and be managing their money and, you know, express regret because, God forbid, you should lose money. But God forbid, a lesser included God forbid, is that you underperformed somebody else who made more money, or be on that kind of track. And I'm saying, do I really need to do that now? And so I do my own stuff for myself. I can, you know, my whole life I would much rather have lost my money than lose somebody else's money. And so that's just the way, that's just my wiring.
What are you trading?
I trade equities. I've traded some commodities. I've traded currency from time to time.
You have fun?
I have more fun when it's successful and I'm winning.
Well, tell me a little bit about your track record.
Brilliant.
Come on.
Well, in the period when it started, I couldn't do any of this stuff while I was still at Goldman. I left that at the end of 18, so beginning of 19. Everybody who started in the markets at the beginning of 19 is a genius, because the markets have gone one way. Now, that doesn't mean on any given day, you know, you can look back at a curve and say, gee, that was an easy period, but when you're living through it, you don't know what the next day is. In hindsight, of course, everything is easy, but really, looking backwards, there wasn't a lot of stress. And then this goes, and this has been, you know, much discussed, that asset prices were being inflated during this period. So anybody who invested in almost anything, you know, you had you know, there are some things that didn't go up, and certainly there are always things that don't go up. But on the whole, asset prices were being, you know, with zero interest rates, make asset prices go up.
What are some of your winningest trades?
Oh, come on. I mean, boring as it is, investing in the new economy. I don't want to say tech, but let's say tech-enabled, the kind of, you know, companies and industries that are tech-enabled.
Innovation?
That embrace it. No, of course it's innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to say tech because I think tech is, I mean, I think to be a retailer means you have to be as adept as Amazon was and Walmart has become. To just be a retailer, or to be a car manufacturer, you have to be on the cutting edge, or else you'll be a bankrupt car manufacturer. And so everything, and anything successful at this point embeds innovation and technology.
Now, I'm curious to know how you do this. Do you do the old-fashioned way? You pick up the phone, you talk to a financial advisor, perhaps that person is at Goldman Sachs, or do you pull out your smartphone and trade on Robinhood?
No, I don't trade on. I'm loyal to my old firm, so I haven't traded, but I don't disparage it. It's not something I do. I have certain kind of pathways that have been operating for a long time, and I stay on them. I like, look, again, occupational hazards. I still wake up in the middle of the night and look at prices, even though I may not be involved, because look, for 40 years, my first job at Goldman was trading precious metals and currencies. And so guess what? 24 hours on the screens. And so those are habits that are hard, that don't die easily. And I'm not sure I want them to. I think it's kind of fun.
In the middle of the night, when you wake up and check prices, what's the first price you check?
I look at equities futures, and I look at currencies, and I look at you know, and things are interesting at different times. Energy prices are interesting. And so I'll look at energy prices. It's not a big deal. It's some people are hobby. Some people bet on football games.
Do you do this every day, or is this sort of a few times a week?
Yeah, I would say every day. Yeah, so many times a day. Again, I grew up with the background noise of markets and risk. I always knew what our positions were, and I always wanted to know whether they were going well or poorly. And I had a role to play. Before I was president and CEO, I was responsible for sales and trading. First, earlier in my career, just the currency and commodities, and later currency and commodities and fixed income, and then after that, currency, commodities, fixed income, and the equities. And so again, it was what I did, and no one could do that for very long if you don't like doing it.
True enough. There's a whole new generation of kids who are just as addicted to markets as you are, and they're on Wall Street bets, and they've got diamond hands on GameStop and AMC and Hertz, and you name the meme stock. Do you think that's healthy?
I think it's a fascinating thing. Part of the business that we're in, giving people advice, managing your own risks, is trying to guess the future. And all you have to go on is a lot of information about the past and maybe some information about the present, which people will fight over.
You spent a long time being an executive and not trading.
Yep.
Now that you're back in the game, are you good at it? Are
you
beating the market?
Everybody's beating the market.
That's not true.
It's like Lake Wobegon. All the kids are above average, because it's just been that kind. It's been that kind of asset inflation inflated kind of environment. But I enjoy it. I don't want to spend my whole life only doing, and I don't do that now. And again, most of the time, it's background noise. I'm in favor of leaning on people